Good morning, people. It's Wisdom of the Tea Leaves on Facebook Live, which I've never done before, but what the hell, I can try, right? And then the idea is that I can take it from here and put it on YouTube. So, anyhow, learning technology. I guess if I was 12, I will know these things way better. Anyhow, so this morning I'm enjoying my jasmine green tea and thinking about birthdays. I have a lot of friends that are Libras and are born in October, and friends that are Scorpios that are born in November. And it seems like the last 2 weeks and the next 2 weeks are just full of people's birthdays, and most people my age or close to my age, so in their 40s or perhaps reaching 50, are feeling life differently. They are just sensing themselves differently. When we're 20, we're usually invincible and stupid and happy to be so, and have the experience of life will never end, so we can do whatever we want to. So it just feels like anything goes. When you're in your 40s, you realize, hey, I could have conceivably lived 2/3 of my life. And if I'm lucky and I have good genes and I'm super healthy and whatnot, maybe I still have half of my life left. But that thought makes us nervous and makes us restless. It's like, what are we here to do? What are we here to give? And we just have a sense of urgency when we're in our 40s and 50s, and that sense of urgency increases even more as we get older. People think when you retire in your 60s or your 70s, you're going to have a whole bunch of time. It's like, no, maybe today you have time, but in terms of a lifespan, you don't have that much time. So the questions of what's my legacy, what am I here to do, really becomes prominent. And here's the thing, if we're not living fully, if we're not contributing, if we're not engaged, if we're not excited about what we're doing, we're depressed. And what happens, statistically, what happens is around 65, people go on antidepressants at alarming numbers. It's the highest demographic that uses the most antidepressants. And just kind of a rite of passage, you go to the doctor and you get an antidepressant when you're 65 or over. So do we really want to do that? Do we really want to go there? What can we do not to go there? And one of the things we do is get involved with things. Now, there's so much talk about what's my purpose? Like, unless I'm working towards my purpose, I'm wasting time. Well, while you're sitting around wondering what your purpose is, do something purposeful, something meaningful. Maybe you'll stumble on your grand purpose. But small acts of kindness, small meaningful acts, projects that are interesting, fulfilling, captivating, that's where your life goes every day. If you choose to, instead of sitting around wondering what your purpose is, just do stuff. When you do stuff, you're engaged. When you're engaged, you're present. When you're present, you're content. It's very simple. You don't need antidepressants. So in our 40s, we start thinking about these things more than ever. But we tend to, it's not an all or nothing game. It's not an all or nothing game. And sort of like the pop psychology, pop culture, everybody is looking for that grand ambition, that grand purpose, grand achievement, and comparing yourself to others, very few others who have achieved amazing things, you feel like a loser. Well, really, there's 9 billion people on this planet. So compared to all of them, where are you on the spectrum? And your time is your most valuable resource. So how would you like to spend it today? There's so many things that you can do that have meaning to you, helpful to others, especially helpful to others, contributing to others in some way, projects, creative ideas, things that you've always wanted to do. What are you waiting for? Do them. I have friends who are like, okay, I'm going to be 50. This is going to be the year of me. I'm going to do this for myself. Or this is the year I'm going to learn this. I've always wanted to learn this language or learn this skill. Or I've always wanted to have this business. What are you waiting for? It may not sound like an amazing thing to others, but if it is your interest, if it is your curiosity, if you're drawn to it, whatever it is, do it. And that's how you live a purposeful life. Not by working on one amazing thing. You may stumble on one amazing thing, but maybe not. What are you going to do then? Nothing. So pick something out of all the things in your head and all the things on your list that you could be doing. Pick one thing and just go for it. It's very simple. Apply yourself in one direction. You'll be okay. So, I wanted to share a poem with you guys. It's by Robert Herrick. I've been repeating this poem every birthday. I'm reading this poem. I'm going to read it to you because if I just recite it, I'll screw it up. So I'm going to read it to you. And you probably have heard it before. And it's amazing. He wrote it to the virgins, but it's equally applicable to anybody at any age. So here we go. Gather your rosebuds while you may. Old time is still a-flying. And this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. The glorious lamp of heaven, the sun, the higher he's a-getting, the sooner will his race be run, and nearer he's to setting. That age is best which is the first, when youth and blood are warmer, but being spent the worse and worse, time still succeeds the former. Then be not coy, but use your time. And while you may go merry, for having lost but once your prime, you may forever tarry. So that last part, clearly to the virgins. But not only if you consider married to be a state of being, like happy and joyful and fulfilled, then the same applies to everybody. While you may go merry, because time is still ticking. So it's very clever expression of the cycle of life. And so as we reach our 40s and 50s, we kind of feel the sun getting nearer to setting. And so then we have urgency. We have urgency and the desire to have a fulfilling experience of life. So coming close to my birthday now. So I'm reading this poem to myself again and, musing myself with the way I spend my time. Because being spent the worse and worse, time still succeeds the former. So how is my time best spent? I always wonder about that. I'm the person with the multiple projects. And so I can spread myself too thin. But it gives me a sense of fullness in my life. And some things fall through the cracks. I just can't control it all. I can't equally give attention to everything. And certain things kind of pop up and become more prominent at certain times. And other projects kind of fall back to the background. And then I'll pick them up later and I'll move forward on them. And other things come into my life. So I have a sense of fluidity. I have a sense of movement in my life. And it's a progressive movement. There's a sense of building and expanding and exploring. Therefore, no antidepressants. I can't do it. I can't afford to be on antidepressants. Even in the toughest times of my life, there's always that forward movement. There's that forward flow because of everything that I'm involved in, and everything that I'm involved in is usually things that I care about. And when you're doing things that you care about, it's beyond you. And when you're just thinking about yourself, you're usually just you, a very lonely place. So that's my morning sort of food for thought with my wisdom of the tea leaves now on on Facebook Live, and hopefully I'll figure out how to put that video on YouTube. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And again, those of you that have never met me, Valentina Petrova here, and I'm a life coach and business consultant. So I hope you have yourself a wonderful Wednesday, doing something that's purposeful and enjoyable. And I will see you next time. And I would love some feedback if you have the time, since this is my first live video. I am very coachable. Thank you. Bye.